Look around. Listen to the radio. Read the billboards. Watch TV. Did you know that you are exposed to over 3,000 commercial messages every single day? The U.S. is the most marketed to country in the history of the world. Why do you think all these companies spend billions of dollars on marketing? It's because it works to get you to spend your money. The majority of the companies have their interest in mind, not yours. This lesson will give you some things to think about and be wary of when you get bombarded with advertising.
Please welcome nationally syndicated radio host and New York Times best-selling author, Dave Ramsey.
We live today in the most marketed to culture in the history of the world. Let me say that again so that you really grasp it. We live today in the most marketed to, advertised to, sold to culture in the history of the world, right here in the United States of America. And if we are going to have financial peace, two words that don't go together, we are going to have to develop a resistance to that marketing. Not that buying things is bad necessarily, but buying too many things with money we don't have to impress people we don't really like is a bad idea. We have to stop and think about this. When I got in the real estate business at 18 years old, they taught us for the real estate test, they taught us a Latin phrase. It's probably the only Latin phrase I know, so I'll brag and use the one that I know. It says caveat emptor. And caveat emptor means buyer beware. Buyer beware, because in the real estate business, typically the home that is listed, the seller is paying the commission both of the agent that has the sign in the yard and maybe of the agent that's bringing you to look at the house. And so technically speaking, in that situation, the buyer does not have representation. And so we were taught to teach the buyer to beware, because we're supposed to represent the person paying us in that situation, the seller. Now, agency laws have changed, and now we have buyer's representation for agents and other things. But generally speaking, that's where that comes from. And just when you think about marketing and people selling us stuff like crazy, that's a good idea to just say, buyer beware. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to buy things. Again, I'm not one of those financial guys who says you can't have a good time. I want you to live like no one else so that later you can live like no one else. But we're going to keep doing that over and over because we want to really stick that down in our spirits. We want to sacrifice to win, and then we want to enjoy the winning. So there's nothing wrong with buying a product or enjoying a good product. There's nothing wrong with participating in buying something from a good salesman. A good salesman is fun to buy from. They have a servant's heart, and they know how to sell, and they're professional at what they do, and it makes the whole process, well, it makes the whole process pretty fun. Today, companies use every possible angle to aggressively compete for your money. The company that is not sophisticated in their marketing, the company that is not aggressive in their marketing, the company that does not have a marketing budget generally doesn't stay open. Competition is too fierce for the consumer dollar. You know, all you got to do is walk down the mall to see this. You got 63 stores selling the same stuff. And competition is too fierce to get your dollars, your precious dollars, to engage you. And they are very good at what they do.
Every time I turn on the TV or open the newspaper, there's always an ad. I'd say 50 ads in a day.
I see about 50 ads a day.
On TV, I see approximately 5 to 10 ads per hour.
American Demographics says that in 1971, the average American had 560 advertisements flashed in front of their face in a given day. Today, according to the book Affluenza, which is a great book, by the way, that guy says in studies he's done that it's between 3,000 and 4,000 advertisements a day that you and I are having flashed in front of our faces. This stuff is a real deal. And a child born today will see over 1 million advertisements before their death. That's bizarre. And that stuff works. That's why they do it. They don't do it because it doesn't work. Why would you spend millions and billions of dollars on something that did not have an effect? When you advertise a certain way and you see results, you will advertise and spend those dollars again. That's just good business. And it's not evil. I'm not mad at these companies. But you and I need to be aware, to beware as consumers. A Harvard study found that for every hour of television per week you watch, you average spending an extra $200 a year. There's a direct connection with the number of hours you spend in front of the tube and your spending. Why? Because there's a lot of advertisements on there. Plus, they show these families that seem to have everything that my family doesn't have. And we think we need to go get it, and we need to go get it right now. Sad thing is this right now, advertising directed at children, according to the New American Dream study, this year, advertising directed specifically at children, $15 billion will be spent. They're teaching our kids consumerism. Again, I don't think this is evil. I'm not paranoid about it, but I am trying to sound a horn and say, wake up! We can't live like this and win. So, what are we going to do? Well, we have to be aware of stuff. I mean, it's sophisticated. The Sony stores now are putting certain scents in the air when you go in at different times of the day. If it's a busy time of day, to relax you a little bit. And other times of the day, to pep you up a little bit. You go in Bloomingdale's, different departments have different scents now. You go in the baby department, you'll probably smell a little baby powder in the air. Makes you kind of feel like babies are there. And we're just wandering along like Gomer Pyle without a clue. And just buying stuff and buying stuff and buying stuff and buying stuff and buying stuff. So what we've got to do is we have to identify the enemies of our financial peace in this process. And they are enemies. They're not enemies in the sense that they're evil or somehow we have to do battle with them, but we have to be aware of the techniques and the processes these companies are using, and when we are, then we're more wise as consumers. The first of these is personal selling. Oh, we are good at selling in this culture, and I'm a good salesman. I sell ideas for a living now, but I've been selling all my life. I grew up in a salesman's household, and I love salespeople. I really enjoy buying from a good salesperson, and I really can't stand being around an amateur that just, rubs you the wrong way. They're just abrasive. I don't want to be near these guys. But people who know how to sell, well, they spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands and thousands and thousands of man hours sitting in a classroom learning how to talk to you in a certain way, to serve you, to assist you in your decision to buy their stuff. Zig Ziglar's brother Judge wrote a book years ago. He said the title of it was Timid Salesmen Have Skinny Kids. If you're going to be good, you better be good at it. It's not a game. The car salesman that is unprofessional and you walk up and you ask a question about a car and the car salesman just answers the question. Now this gal will be out of the business in a little while. We're taught the very first thing in Salesmanship 101 is you never answer a question except with another question. Oh, do you have this? Do you have this Ford Taurus in blue? Well, tell me, were you looking for a sport version or possibly the four-door for the family? Tell me about your situation. Well, we're thinking maybe the four-door. So is safety a big concern, or are you more looking at gas mileage or performance? And you begin to answer questions with questions, and every time there's another answer to the question, there's one more item on the order blank that has begun to be filled out. Do you want the one with 4 wheels? And when we finish filling it out, voila, we don't happen to have that here, but we can get it for you. We'll have it here by this afternoon. So we can go ahead and do the paperwork. You can drive the green one. We'll have the blue one delivered, and it'll be here this afternoon by the time we get the paperwork done anyway. So we'll test drive this one, but just think blue while you're driving green. And they don't even have to have it on their lot. They'll have it from a dealer across town on a cross-purchase agreement, and it'll be there in no time. And that's how the business works. And the National Auto Dealers Association knows that you won't be back. As a matter of fact, they do studies on be-backs. When we're on the car lot, we say, we're looking and we test drive and we're starting to bite. You're starting to enter into the sales process, and then you say, well, we're just looking around. We'll be back. In the car business, they call those be-backs. You won't be back. 88% of the time you don't return, because by the time you're test driving you have car fever. You will purchase a car within 72 hours on average, and you will buy it somewhere within that period of time, and you will not do it in a second decision process 88% of the time. You won't be back. And the salesmen know this in the business. They're trained. You don't even know this about you. But they know what's going on, and so they've tried everything, and you're still leaving thinking you're going to be back, and you look down and there's something around your ankle, and it's the salesman. Because they know they're professionals at what they do. It can't be called a game when you enter into the arena of purchasing something in America today.
Paging Carl. Carl, you got a call on line 4. Carl, line 4.
Hey, how you doing today? Yeah, good to see you. Come here a second. I want you to have a seat in this car and smell that fine Corinthian leather. Ah, it's lovely. It's got Bluetooth, and it also has a surround sound with an iPod dock. You do have an iPod, don't you? Oh, hey, listen to this. Listen. 0% for the first 2 weeks, and it adjusts monthly after that, okay? Because you'll probably want to get the full roadside coverage on this deal. Oh, and this little rain sensing wipers, one of those, well, of course, it's got the converters. It's got the twin ace ply. It also has wheel locks, so you don't lose these custom. Either way, it's a win-win situation. Stop. I'm not going to do this to you. I knew it the second you walked up. I said, I like this person. I want to give you the insider deal, okay? Now, I don't know if I can make this happen because I need to get manager approval on this deal, but I'm going to do my very best, okay? You just hang on, sit tight, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I cannot believe the manager just approved this deal. This is unbelievable. I am sure that you are aware that all the cell phone companies are battling to get their phones installed in new cars. Now, currently, the cell phone companies are underwriting our car leases. Now, I checked with your cell phone provider, and we can add this car lease to your current phone contract. Here's how it works, okay? Now, anywhere you drive during the day counts toward your base miles. But if you go over your mileage in any given month, the rates will double. Now, you can drive anywhere you want to between the hours of 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. on nights and weekends, as long as you're going to see someone that's on your plan, okay? Now, if you drive long distances, long distance rates will apply. Now, the best part about this deal is that rollover miles will be included in your first year. What do you think about that? Huh? No. What? Wait. No. Hey, we'll throw in the undercoating. Yeah. And the overcoating. And a free cell phone.